guys! 2023 has been a great year, and a fun first year for the channel. I'm so glad to have made Fakemon videos, especially ones that you guys had suggested. And in August, I started making individual Fakemon from suggestions as well and turning them into shorts. Let's take a look at every one of these requests, including some brand new ones that no one has seen yet. What if Pokemon had common ancestors? That was the question that we started to answer in this video, which took a spin on past Paradox Pokemon. There were several people who commented on this video with the common ancestors that they would want to see in the future. Two of these people were Boss the Steampunk Rabbit and Johnny Johnson 4265, who were interested in what a common ancestor for all the Pika clones would look like. So I came up with Picodai. This Pokemon's name comes from Pikachu, for obvious reasons, and the word for ancient in Japanese. It stands upright like all of the Pika clones, excluding Palmy, and also has the signature circular cheek pouches. They also have spiky fur that runs from the top of their head to the tip of their tail, changing to the pomp of hair on Palmy's head, as well as the spikes on Pachirisu's tail and Togedemaru's body. Another common ancestor I ended up drawing this year came from a request by that one dude who draws, who said that they would love to see a common ancestor for Spheal. So I evolved Spheal up into Walrein, brought in Dugong and the sea lion Pokemon Primarina, and created Marimbus. Their name can be broken down into marine, for how they tend to live and thrive in water, and the Latin word umbrus, meaning shadow, to hint to the shadowy depths of the ocean where some of the most frightening and ancient-looking sea creatures live. Marimbus uses its massive tusks and sharp claws to attack and capture prey, while the spikes on its tail and the crest on its head are used offensively when attacked by other Pokemon. The claws receded over time, but Walrein and Dugong kept the tusks to some extent, and Primarina still uses the spikes on its tail, and the crest has changed to a cute starfish accessory on its head. One of the first videos we had this year was our Mimikyu of every type video, where Mimikyu changed its costume to match some of the most popular Pokemon in the franchise for each typing. Several of you had suggested a Clefairy costume to represent the fairy type, since Clefairy was almost the mascot for Pokemon until Pikachu captured the spotlight. So here's our Mimikyu disguised as Clefairy. It's said that this costume was pretty popular among Mimikyu back in the 90s. This was the time period that Clefairy was seeming to be popular. When things shifted and more media and merchandise for Pikachu came out, Mimikyu went to work and began a brand new costume. While this disguise is the most common to see Mimikyu wear today, there are some that continue to represent Clefairy to this day. Some Mimikyu feel a sense of camaraderie with Clefairy for having their chance to be loved worldwide by trainers taken from them by Pikachu. We haven't gotten any new officially named baby Pokemon since 2006 with the release of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. There are some Pokemon that would be great candidates for baby pre-evolutions, and we took a look at some of them back in September. You guys had a lot of thoughts on this, and told me some great ideas for new baby Pokemon. 3 of you agreed that Absol would be the perfect choice. Absol is a Pokemon that is intimidating to come across and powerful. That's part of why it would be great for it to get a new baby form, since seeing these traits right away while hatching eggs is pretty funny. Plus, it's a well-loved Pokemon. So let's take a look at this new baby Pokemon, Cibcladus. Their name is based on Absol being classified as the disaster Pokemon. It's from Cibia, meaning prophetess, and Cladus, which just straight up means disaster. Like Absol, they can sense oncoming dangers, but with their lack of experience and young age, they can easily become overwhelmed by this knowledge. Sometimes they are even left paralyzed to act by the horrors of what they know is to come. 2 viewers both had a great idea for new baby Pokemon. The Knight with a Bad Pick to Tall 7639 and GCam-ZM6YC both had the idea for an Ice Cube pre-evolution. This makes so much sense, since baby penguins can look very different from the adults. Meet Frostpuff, the Ice-type pre-evolution. Most of this Pokemon's body is covered by thick, white, powdery feathers on its body that makes the Pokemon look like a little snowball. This part of the body hardens upon evolution and turns into Ice Cube's icy block head. The beak of this Pokemon already has an icy look to it. Frostpuff loves to cuddle. In the wild, they will snuggle together, especially during harsh snowstorms. They like to plant themselves at their parents' feet when they don't have siblings or friends around to cuddle up to. Its belly is exposed so that the Pokemon can travel more easily across icy glaciers, sliding on its belly to get around. The first video ever on the channel was our Pokemon Fusion video. Some of you gave suggestions for fusions that couldn't be made in the fan game Pokemon Infinite Fusion, since the game doesn't have every single Pokemon at this point. Our very first individual Pokemon viewer request actually came from a comment on this video by Oshawott Fan2312. They wanted to see what a fusion of the newly revealed Tinkaton and Honedge would look like. That fusion became the Pokemon Tinkedge. The body of the Pokemon is entirely Tinkaton with some changes, while the massive hammer it wields now looks suspiciously like another Pokemon we know. The sword Pokemon's cloth and tassels made me think of a scarf, which I thought would be really cute on Tinkaton. To avoid this looking just like an accessory, Tinkaton's ears were changed and wrapped around its head to resemble this element. Another Pokemon fusion uses two Pokemon that aren't an infinite fusion. Guzzlord Guy 5991 requested a Type Null and Houndstone fusion. The result is this brand new Pokemon, Nullhound, a ghost and normal type. Type Null's front legs, tail, collar, and helmet were used in this design, though its helmet was changed to look more dog-like. Meanwhile, Houndstone is represented with its fur and bone elements. This Pokemon was artificially created by humans, with the purpose of being strong enough to defeat the most powerful Pokemon and Ultra Beasts. Unfortunately, the test failed, and this Pokemon gained the Ghost typing. This Pokemon still has plenty of power, and it needs the helmet to contain some of that mighty strength. Our last Pokemon fusion was suggested by Janet and Little John, a Jigglypuff and Scorbunny fusion. I decided to make this Pokemon round and short like the spunky Jigglypuff, while also incorporating the little hair curl it has on its head and big round eyes. Scorbunny gets to be shown through with their big bunny ears, cute nose, mouth, and big old cheese slice thing on its face. The fusion that might result from these two Pokemon is Scorpuff, a fairy-type Pokemon. It has a little tuft of hair that curls around its ears and holds them in place on its head. This Pokemon is incredibly bubbly and energetic. They will bounce up as high as possible as they skip across the battlefield, and like to roll when they need to move greater distances. Trainers who have a Scorpuff and Scorbunny sometimes notice Scorbunny can be too rough with Scorpuff, kicking the fusion around like a soccer ball. And our last viewer request comes from our Pokemon Evolutions video. Neve Tatum had an idea that Aromatisse could use a new evolution. I thought that was a great idea, since as it is, the Pokemon is considered to be a disappointing evolution to Spritzee. I know a lot of people wanted Spritzee to evolve into a Plague Doctor when it was revealed, but I thought that concept would be a bit too different from Aromatisse being a perfume can-can dancer. So meet this take on an Aromatisse evolution, Noxaroma, a fairy and poison type. This Pokemon incorporates Aromatisse's round body and feathers. Its design is inspired by the Witch of the Waste from Howl's Moving Castle. Noxaroma's long, feathery wings drag across the ground. They're this long so that, while in flight, they can swoop across the battlefield and release toxic fumes over the entire area. This will poison their opponent and steadily knock them out over time. Which of this year's viewer requests was your favorite? If you want a chance for one of your Fakemon ideas to be made in the future, watch videos on the channel and put your suggestions in the comments. You only need to post your suggestion once, since I go back to these videos and dig through the comments when I have time to take on a viewer request. Your idea could be used in a short or video. I'm excited for how many viewer requests we'll have by the end of next year, with a whole 12 months to create them instead of the 5 months or so this year. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye!